Good morning, Delaware. This is DETV's Good Morning Wilmington. I am your special guest host, Kristen Holden.
And I'm your special guest host, Jordan Hines. How
Hey,
are you?
I'm doing well this morning. How are you?
I'm good. How was your? Did you enjoy your weekend?
I actually did. Friday was pretty action-packed. I felt like I was running ragged, but you know, got to have a solid wrap-up of the week so I can come out the gate strong on Monday.
That's good. I enjoyed the weekend because I was working out with my trainer, and I was informed that we do no longer have to wear our masks.
Yes.
The CDC just announced that if you are fully vaccinated, in conjunction with our president and the vice president, held a press conference announcing that if you have been fully vaccinated, you do not have to wear your mask.
So you know, Jordan, they're talking about you, right?
Yes, they are talking about me. Because, you know, I've been messing up a few times. They tell me to wear it, and I'm just like half not wearing it. So it's like under my nose. So
I know, right?
I'll do better.
Yeah.
I
so
promise.
listen, I heard that the governor said I think about 55.6% of Delawareans are vaccinated right now.
That is right.
I do know that they just welcomed a new age bracket into
Last Tuesday.
vaccinations.
Yes,
last Tuesday. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I actually talked to my daughter, and she was like, you know, I know I'm only 11, but you know, when I turn 12, I was like, all right, okay.
Individuals are still going to have to wear their masks, though. However, in homeless shelters, hospitals,
Definitely.
those primary areas where it's going to be a larger crowd, of course. So.
Indeed, yeah. You know, I think it's still important. I believe even if I had the vaccination, I would want to still wear my mask in certain scenes just to protect myself. You know.
Speaking of scenes, it's going to be interesting to see how everyone is wearing their masks with the new announcement of the Firefly concert.
Oh my gosh, that's
I'm
so
exciting!
exciting.
I'm bummed because I won't be here, and it's going to be around my birthday week.
Oh yeah,
So,
I forgot you are that Libra.
They have a lot of guests: Billie Eilish, Megan Thee Stallion,
Wiz Khalifa, Roddy Ricch. I know it's like a good. I think a lot of age brackets are going to be able to go and celebrate and enjoy in like that good old music festival. I love a good concert.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Now I know they still don't have COVID restrictions announced just yet for that, but that's like one of Delaware's premier events going on. So it's down in Dover. I mean, it's going to be a great time.
Now, I've never been, but I've got a lot of friends that have announced that they've
You know,
been,
I haven't
the
either.
turn-up is real.
Listen, I hear a lot about it. I actually want to go and experience. So I don't know, maybe if you're back in town or not, you know, maybe we'll all go and check it out.
And while we're in entertainment, they just announced a whole list of individuals that got just inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Jay-Z, my favorite, Tina Turner. So
you love you some Tina Turner.
I love me some Tina. There's a rule of thumb here at Good Morning Wilmington. We do not talk bad about Tina Turner.
Well, all right now. Let's just keep on rolling. Big wheels keep on rolling.
Yes, they do. That's how you do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hall of Fame, you know, my household is a basketball household. So Kobe Bryant, he was going into the NBA Hall of Fame over the weekend. Yeah, indeed. That was pretty awesome. So, you know, after all that happened, but.
Okay.
I
know my family's gonna be excited. They're basketball fiends. They love watching basketball.
I know, right? Speaking of watchers, though, did you hear about Ellen?
I did.
Listen,
that's gonna be a bummer. Like I really enjoyed watching her show.
Yeah.
And I remember even when I was attending Wyden University, all of us would get together and just watch different shows. If it wasn't Ellen, it'd be any of those fun talk shows. So Ellen DeGeneres, we're going to miss you on your show.
I know. She's been gone for like 19 seasons, and this is going to be the last one. So sometime next year, she's going to be finished. Yeah, she said it's not challenging anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of college students, what they're going to be doing when they're getting back on campus.
Listen, when I was at Coppin State, I built all of my schedules around the stories and the Price is Right. So.
And I don't know if you heard, but Delaware State just announced that they will be canceling up to $700,000 in student debt.
Listen.
Why couldn't they do that when I was in school?
Oh my gosh.
I know students are excited. Del State also announced that the average individual student will qualify for up to $3,000 in debt relief funds, and that's coming from the American Plan.
The rescue plan,
The rescue plan, yeah. So I'm very excited, and I know students at Del State are going to be excited about that.
I absolutely love that. So this is something that is in the works definitely, or are they still reviewing it?
I believe this is actually in the works. This was just announced last week.
This is so exciting. There are going to be so many young folks who are attending college or just finished up that are going to be able to benefit. But like, speaking of stuff that's under review, items under review, the COVID restrictions, those are...
That's national.
National
Our
guidelines?
president has made these announcements about the lift of the mask. There's other states are still going over their provisions and whatnot, but the president just announced last week that we can do this.
Listen, that's going to help out with, while on college campus, because they're already going to have to be vaccinated to go back in the fall. So, I guess those schools are going by the guidelines right now, and I don't know, companies and small, larger corporations who,
Well, a lot of the national plans from the American Plan Rescue Plan, it's definitely been beneficial, as we can see, that with now being able to lift these masks to helping universities, even down to our Newcastle County Register of Wills. Cyril Poppity just announced the FEMA program that's going to help individuals with their funeral expenses.
Yes, anyone who passed away due to COVID causes. I believe it's after January 2020.
Yep, and the death certificate has to state that the cause of death was COVID related. So kudos to our Newcastle County Register of Wills, Cyril Poppity, for leading that. And all of this is from the benefit of the actual rescue plan.
The rescue plan, indeed.
Kudos to President Biden and Vice President Harris on their job. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what else has been going on?
The riverfront.
Yes.
There's a lot going on. I mean, I feel like there's always some kind of construction going on around town. Right now we still have 95. Oh my gosh, on my way getting in here.
Well, the Riverfront Development Corporation announced and unveiled its plan last week. They're calling it Riverfront East. It's going to be a $100 million project, 86 acres mixed-use project. So it's going to be pretty big. This is going to be huge. It's going to be very beneficial. And I'm from the East Side.
Hey.
Shout out to a certain gentleman, Mr. Rob, just a kid from the East Side.
Just a kid from East Side.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll rock my shirt next segment for you, Rob.
I love it. He'll love it too.
This is going to be beneficial to everyone in that community.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So that is some good stuff going on at the riverfront. And next up, I'm excited to announce that our next guest, we have State Senator Sarah McBride to speak with us about Senate Bill 1. And with her, we have Elizabeth Richards, Executive Director for the Delaware Cares Coalition.
Get excited, Delaware. Coming soon is DETV News on Channel 28. It's a look at what's happening in the first state. We'll have news, sports, health, and we'll keep you informed on local entertainment. It's been long enough. I'm Lauren Wilson. Come on, Delaware, let's do this.
No one should be forced to choose between their paycheck and their health. Those words spoken by State Senator Sarah McBride, who is our next guest.
Let's also welcome the Executive Director of Delaware Cares Coalition, Liz Richards.
Yes, thanks for being here, you guys. How are you, Sarah?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back on.
How's it going down in Dover?
We started back in person, and it's been really wonderful getting to see my colleagues here and continue the amazing work that we've been doing, really trying to ensure that our COVID recovery is a recovery that lifts all boats. So it's great to be back down here. It's wonderful to be here with my colleagues, and it's a pleasure to be on with you and Liz this morning.
And Liz, it's so good to have you here.
Hey, Liz.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to be here and talk about paid family medical leave.
Yes, I'm excited to talk to you both about that.
Such a big topic,
It's a huge topic. So, I'm a big proponent for starting from the ground level before it got to Dover. Liz, tell us, what was your involvement with this bill, Senate Bill 1 to be exact?
Sure. So, lawmakers like Senator McBride had been talking about paid family and medical leave in the 2020 elections. And we know that that's a big thing that would have an impact on so many Delaware families across the state. So where I kind of came from it was, we need to organize for this. We need to have a coalition, a broad coalition that brings together labor, faith, community organizations, business organizations that will all really do the public education about why this bill is so important and how it will impact families. So that was kind of the impetus for the Delaware Cares Coalition. And as we talked to different stakeholders across the state, from, labor groups like the AFL-CIO to community groups, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, and so many more across the state who have really just seen why this is so important up close, and how, especially during the pandemic, families have really, really struggled to make ends meet and to try to balance the demands of work and family. So that's really where this all started. The pandemic changed everything, and it caused a lot of hardship, and we all are now coming together to be part of the solution.
I absolutely love this. So last year, early 2020, I was a workforce manager, and I had a lot of employees who were coming to me with issues of, this was before we knew COVID was going to be such a major pandemic for us all. They were coming and either their families were sick, their children were sick, there was someone at home sick, and they had to decide, I don't know what to do. I have bills to pay, I'm behind on my rent, but I need to take care of my family members. So I'm super excited that this is something that you're actually going to make a change on. There are so many people that need this.
That's exactly right. And we know the need has always existed. I mean, throughout this process, I've spoken to mothers who saved up their tips for 9 months just to be able to afford a few weeks off unpaid when they had a child. I've talked to even more who have saved up gift cards from their baby shower to cover that cost. And then there are, when you think about people who have children with disabilities, or people who are battling cancer, who are really just struggling to figure out, how do I take care of my own health, but also make sure I can put food on the table. And that struggle has been there for so long, but I think the pandemic really put it into stark contrast for everybody, and made people realize, we never know when we're going to get sick. We never know when a family or a health emergency is going to strike. And we need to make sure that facing an event like that is not something that's going to put you out of a paycheck or even put you out of a job.
And Senator, you this is rather personal for you, considering that you had this experience dealing with your late husband, correct?
Yes.
That's right. My passion for this issue is driven in part by the stories I heard talking to constituents and talking to voters throughout the campaign, folks who were struggling with raising children, struggling with caring for an aging parent, struggling through a diagnosis of a serious health condition. And it really also is informed by my own experience as a caregiver myself, taking care of the man who would become my husband, Andrew, after he was diagnosed with cancer that in the end turned out to be terminal cancer. And focusing on his health, getting his treatment, that was a full-time job for both Andy and for myself. He needed to focus on that treatment to live, and I had to be there by his side to help him survive. And fortunately, we were able to both take paid time off to focus on his health, to try to save his life. And then when we found out it was terminal, for me to be there by his side to walk him to his death and to be able to marry him in the final days of his life. And so we were lucky in the end. Even though Andy lost his life, we were lucky because we at least had throughout that crisis the peace of mind to know that we weren't going to have to give up food or give up paying our rent, because we had an employer that was there to support us. And frankly, a lot of employers want to be there for their employees when hard times hit. But for so many, it's hard to be there on their own, which is why Senate Bill 1 is such a not just compassionate policy, but a smart and affordable economic policy, because it helps businesses of every size be there for their workers when their workers hit hard times.
Now, Senator, could you help us understand how this bill is supposed to be creating a statewide medical leave insurance program? Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So SB 1, the Healthy Delaware Families Act, is based off of the best practices in now 9 states plus Washington, D.C. that have passed similar programs. And basically what SB 1 establishes is a paid family and medical leave insurance program administered by the Delaware Department of Labor to provide wage replacement for employees when they're out on up to 12 weeks of leave for several different qualifying events, including bonding with a new child in your family, taking care of a serious health condition that you've been diagnosed with, caring for a loved one with a serious health condition, survivors of domestic violence seeking safety and security, and military families working through either the deployment of a loved one or the return of a loved one from deployment. And so it would provide this wage replacement for up to 12 weeks of leave, creating that critical safety net for families when they're facing a major life event, a life event that all of us in our lives will experience at some point or another. And I think what's really important to reinforce here is that, elected officials, government, we can't eliminate all pain, we can't stop all loss, but what we can do is step in and try to make life a little bit easier when hard times hit. And that's exactly what this program will do. That's exactly what SB1 does.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this. I can see how it makes sense for a lot of larger companies to take advantage and pay into this type of insurance. What about for small businesses? How are small businesses able to do so?
That's a great question. And what we're seeing right now without this state insurance program is that increasingly large corporations are providing this expected benefit, this desired benefit on their own dime. And they're able to do so because of their profits. Whereas right now in the status quo, small businesses are struggling to keep up. They're struggling to afford to provide this benefit on their own. And by creating this state administered social insurance program, we're leveling the playing field between large corporations that are already providing this benefit on their own and smaller, medium-sized employers who struggle right now to be able to afford this. The state social insurance program is by far the most affordable and economical way to deliver this benefit. And it's funded through a small premium, less than 1%, split between employee and employer, with small businesses under 20 employees exempted from having to even pay in the employer portion of the premium. And what that comes out to, that premium, that less than 1% of wages premium, comes out for a $15 worker to approximately the cost of a cup of coffee a week. So this is an incredibly affordable option that ensures that small businesses are able to have this benefit for their workers, leveling that playing field in the competition for talent, allowing them to keep up with those larger employers, and of course, ensuring that their workers don't have to sacrifice their income when hard times hit.
This is amazing.
It really
oh my
is.
gosh, it's really exciting.
And Liz, I know you can speak to having done a lot of the coalition building, getting community organizers, getting small businesses, I'm sure, getting their support behind this bill. What were you hearing when you were doing all the coalition building from constituents throughout the state of Delaware when it comes to this bill?
Well, I think Senator McBride really hit it on the head, where this is something that is going to level the playing field for small businesses. I've talked to small business owners who have said, I really couldn't afford to do this on my own. It just would not be possible. And yet my employees still get sick. And what do I do if they need to be out for several weeks at a time? I'm between a rock and a hard place. And a program like this for them is really the only way they can provide it. It's something that helps them keep their employees. During the pandemic, we've seen over 2 million women leave the workforce. That's a big problem here in Delaware and all over the country, because when people have to leave their jobs in order to care for their families, we are going to continue to lose great workers. And there's other business owners I've talked to who've said, I've lost good employees because they had to deal with a family emergency and I couldn't afford to give them paid leave. It helps no one when a worker has to leave their job just because they faced a serious medical event. And this program would really help small businesses and help employees care for themselves and their loved ones. And that's really what we've been hearing. It helps entrepreneurs who may be taking that first step and saying, how do I go out and do this on my own? It really is that safety net that is going to lift all boats and make sure everyone can manage those emergencies when they do come up.
And Senator, now the bill is where right now down in Legislative Hall?
So the bill was recently introduced and it's now in front of the Senate Health and Social Services Committee, a committee I'm proud to be a chair of. And right now we're continuing to have conversations. We introduced this legislation with an incredible number of co-sponsors in both the Senate and the House, but we're continuing to have conversations with stakeholders of all backgrounds, from workers to employers to folks in healthcare, as this bill moves through the process. And so it's an inclusive, thoughtful, deliberative process that we continue to engage on through this bill, because it's such an important step that Delaware needs to take. And we want to make sure that we're reflecting the experiences of all different segments of Delaware society. But it's before the Senate Health and Social Services Committee, and I'm excited to continue those conversations as SB1 works through the process.
Yes, this is so awesome. It's been so great to get more information from you both, Senator McBride and Liz, I truly appreciate your time today, and I look forward to seeing this further develop.
Likewise, and I'm just going to take a personal privilege. It's always great to see my fellow alumni from Cab Calloway. It's good to see you both. It's great to be interviewing you guys. So thank you for your hard work. I really appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So listen, I noticed gas prices lately are like $3.
They're skyrocketing.
Oh my gosh, like this Wednesday, I went to my local gas station that I like to go to, and I was outraged. Oh my gosh, like since 2014, I haven't seen gas prices this astronomical.
Half of America is freaking out. And you know, it's funny, we have the right person to be here to speak to this issue. Ken Grant, he is the Public and Government Affairs Manager at AAA. Ken, how are you?
Doing great, and hopefully now people are realizing that last week was probably not the right response to go out and start hoarding gasoline like they were hoarding toilet paper.
Like at the beginning of COVID, right?
Oh my gosh.
So help us understand what exactly is going on. Why are we seeing prices go up right now?
Well, essentially what we saw was a self-fulfilling prophecy from those who don't quite get what was happening. What we saw last week was a simple disruption in the distribution system. We at no point had a gas shortage. It was simply a matter of the distribution pipeline was shut down temporarily because of a cybersecurity hack. But we had plenty of gas. It was just a matter of getting it to where it was needed. And had everybody, especially those south of us, in Virginia and the Carolinas, had they simply gone about their normal, regular way of doing things, just get gas when you get down to about a quarter of a tank or so in your car, things probably would have been fine. But instead, there was some panic buying that took place. That led to gas stations running out, exacerbating the issues, and we saw prices in this area went up about 11 cents in a week. Again, further south in Virginia and the Carolinas, it was going up over 20 cents in the same time period.
So it sounds like you just said there really was not a shortage.
Correct.
An outage. What's the difference?
Yeah. I was under the impression there was a shortage. Oh my gosh.
And help us understand what's going on with the pipeline too, from Houston to could you help us?
Educate us, please. I'm curious.
I'm trying to really understand. Is it a shortage? Is it an outage? What is it?
Yes.
So the Colonial Pipeline takes the refined gasoline as well as other fuels from Texas on up through the whole Southeast and up into New Jersey. And that supplies about 40 to 45% in a normal day of the gasoline that's bought and sold in the area. The problem here was that thanks to a cybersecurity attack, the pipeline had to be shut down. Now, again, the gas was always there. We also have other, this wasn't the sole source of gasoline. We also have gasoline coming over from Europe by ship. We have gasoline that can be transported by tankers, the large tank trucks on the highways and everything. I mean, it was always there. It was just a matter of getting it to the gas stations. So there was that disruption. Then you have panic buying taking place. So at that point, I'd say it was really more human behavior that led to the problems that we saw. And again, we saw some minor inconveniences here in the Delaware area. It was further south that you saw, real panic setting in and gas stations actually running out of gas there. And
North Carolina was hit pretty bad, and down in some areas of Florida too. I was able to hone in and see that. But I not to cut you off, but just a question: how is it that a cyber attack was able to affect the gas line?
And if I could even add another part of that question, is that cyber attack in conjunction to the cyber attack that we've heard our president speak of from Russia with the election?
So apparently this group, Dark Side, which I understand is conducting some other cyber attacks now with different companies in Asia as well. They're individuals who are based in Russia. It's not the Russian government, from everything that we know so far. So there doesn't seem to be an overlap between Russian government interference with election systems, both in the US and in other countries, and this attack. This attack was purely essentially a ransom situation. And this is what some of the cyber thieves do, is they break into your system, and then they, in the case of a pipeline, had they gotten control of the controls, they would have been able to shut everything down. As it was, it's my understanding that they were only partway through the door, and the pipeline owners were told, "Hey, we're here. Give us money," which apparently they did. But as a security measure, they went ahead and shut everything down at that point, just to be on the safe side. And then it took several days to kind of get things back up and running. So these cybersecurity hacks, this is something that happens, unfortunately, all too often around the world. They target certain companies that can afford to pay huge ransoms, and they go after them. And then if the company doesn't pay up, they either release their data for the whole world to see, or they trash their data, or they shut out their systems. There's a variety of things. Think about how much on a regular basis we all are dependent on what's on our computers, on our laptops, on our hard drives. And if someone were to hack into say the computer system at DETV and say, okay, we're shutting everything down or else pay us, you're in a pretty vulnerable situation there.
So as Delawareans, how should we account for this challenge with especially Memorial Day coming up? Do we take this into account with our travel plans? I mean, are prices still going to continue to rise for us? What should we Delawareans look for?
So the very basic thing with gasoline prices is supply and demand. And one of the things that we're seeing right now, first of all, this is normally when you would see gas prices rising naturally by a few pennies or so each week as we head towards Memorial Day. That's just a normal phenomenon as people are enjoying more of the spring weather. You add on top of that the fact that people are now vaccinated, the CDC is opening up their restrictions, and people are feeling very much, we've got over a year's worth of cabin fever that people are saying, we want to get out, we want to travel some more. So you're going to see that increase in demand, as well as more flights, which means, they're using more fuel. The cruise line industry is getting back online. These are all things that for the past year had been curtailed highly, if not completely shut down, which meant that last year, the price per barrel of gasoline technically went below zero. It was in negative digits because the demand was so low worldwide, with airlines, cutting back and cruise lines shut down, and just no demand from the average drivers like you and I. Now that everything's getting back up, you're getting higher demand. You're getting more more people ready to hit the roads, ready to hop on airplanes, jump on boats, and enjoy their lives some more. So yes, those prices are going to continue to increase. We expect, a few cents more per gallon going into Memorial Day weekend, and then we'll probably see a leveling off, and hopefully later, the pattern has been that after Memorial Day, you start to see things slowly come down. Now, here's an adage that you need to keep in mind with gas prices. They go up like a rocket and they fall down like a feather.
Yeah.
So there will be times when, just like you said, last week you're going to the pump and it's like, wait a minute, what happened? Those numbers just seem to be, getting higher and higher and higher. And then when they start coming down, it's just going to be a very slow, methodical, drop a penny here, drop 2 cents there kind of thing until, okay, this is back to what we were used to.
Well, Ken, I can't thank you enough for your expertise and insight on this. Who knew cyber attacking
crazy
affect our gas prices and our pipelines? So thank you for educating us, and thank you for being on the show.
Yes, thank you so much,
Ken. I
Ken.
really appreciate your insight.
It's an absolute honor. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I look forward to watching you every week.
Oh, thank you, Ken.
Awesome. You're awesome. Right. Thanks.
And next up, we have two school board winners that just won their election, Kecia and Kimberly Stock. Can't wait to meet with them.
Yay.
And a special thanks to Ken Grant for educating us on those gas price issues. Thank you, Ken, for all that education you provided.
Yes, thank you so much. So now we have two of our school board election winners. This is so exciting. We have Kecia Nesmith. She won the Red Clay School District F. And we also have Kimberly Stock. She won Brandywine School District F. So it's so exciting to have you both with us. Hi.
Hi. Thank you.
How are you guys feeling since the election?
Yes.
Exhilarated.
Yeah? You gotta give me more than that. I know you guys are feeling much more than that, right? How's the family feeling?
I think everybody is feeling a mixture of just relief, but also maybe just a little bit of hope. And honestly, like, it was really kind of empowering to win. I don't know if Kecia feels the same way, but I think that's kind of how we feel.
Yeah, I think my immediate family and my extended family who came up to help, we're all elated, excited about what's to come, and really proud of the difference that we can make, that I can make as a school board member. So everybody's excited, taking a little break, a little rest, but we're ready to get to work.
Now this is your guys' first time running for a public office, correct?
Yes.
Definitely, yes.
I'm super curious, what made you both decide to take this big step and run?
I mean, for me, I think because I've been a lifelong educator, it's one of the things that I've always thought about, largely because of my feeling that sometimes the school board members weren't necessarily as in touch with what was happening in the schools. And a lot of decisions were made this past year for teachers and for parents and for students without, I think, a lot of say on our part. And I think that, you know, these things work best, schools work best, school districts work best when more stakeholders are kind of part of that decision. And so just kind of seeing everything that happened, I just kind of realized that it was time.
You know, after the November 2020 election, I really got more involved in looking at our government, at policy. As a doctoral student at UD, I had a policy class, and we had to create policies, research policies, and I realized that I had more to give. Right now I'm serving as a principal, but I also have more to give to the community. So my children are in Red Clay school districts, and my son is in 6th grade and my daughter's graduating. So I said, you know, if not now, when? So I just really want to serve, and that's the honest truth. And I had no idea that I was becoming a politician. So it's just really exciting to be able to share my gifts and talents and resources.
Now, I'm sure this was probably new for your families. How are they taking this all in, seeing your guys' success with this election?
My husband said to a few friends of mine, I knew she was going to do something. She's always going to do it. When she wants to do it, she goes out and gets it. So I think that is the norm in my household. So they're just kind of used to it. They go along. You know, at times they're really energized. I would say on election day, they were super excited. Just to be able to see the wealth of support that came out in support of my campaign.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely think my family was excited about it. I think that before I even filed, I talked to my husband, I talked to my 2 daughters, and I said, what do you think about if I were to decide to do this? Because it might affect you a little bit. And my youngest daughter said, just as long as you're not, like, you know, in a bad mood when you come home from being too tired and stuff. But really, it was nice to just have my family like get involved, you know, on different levels, and just kind of really take ownership. And I think that really for me, it really didn't just feel like my win. It really felt like not just my family's win. I mean, it really felt like just so many people. It just felt like our win collectively together. So that's been awesome. Kind of crazy to see. But it's I always say this too. It's not about me. It's really about it's really about what we could do together.
Right. Speaking of what we can all do together, right now as we're phasing into things, you know, our area opening up after COVID, I'm really curious just to kind of jump right into some of the issues that we have on our plate at the moment with schools reopening after COVID. What is that going to look like? What is the plan? How are you ladies looking at attacking this?
Well, I'll say, I've had a wealth of experience this year being able to see what the cyber world looks like. I'm on special assignment as a cyber principal, which is very interesting. And we've learned lots of lessons this year, what to do and what not to do. So I'm hopeful that the school districts will work together to provide options that maximize student learning. Teachers having to teach from the classroom, teach online, and teach in person is very, very difficult. So I hope that that will go away. But maybe looking at how we can leverage the resources that we already have to provide some type of online learning for students to get that rich curriculum, not just an outside third party provider in terms of curriculum, but get the rich curriculum and instruction from a certified teacher in Red Clay. And so if we start planning now, we can figure out how we can do that without having to really spend any more resources. And then looking at how we can continue to grow that opportunity, because we are in a global society and the internet and the online learning has really shown us that some kids actually thrive. Many more really need that in-person learning, but some kids actually did thrive. So we should do a little bit more research around that and figure out how we can meet the needs of all of our learners so that we can keep equity at the forefront.
That's actually a really great point there. I was going to ask, with understanding that some students are better in-person learners opposed to virtual and vice versa, there have to be some students that might be in the gaps right now because of virtual learning. Is there a plan in place to catch them up to their grade level?
So for both the Brandywine School District and the Red Clay School District, so I'm actually a teacher for Red Clay, so I teach at McCain High School. So I can kind of see this perspective from both a parent for BSD as well as a teacher for Red Clay. And yes, so both districts have received some money to have, if they want to call them summer camps or summer learning, some really creative ways. I know that at McCain, we have some actually kind of exciting summer camps that we're trying to get our students to come back and do. And it's not just like art camp and media camp and things like that. So when I kind of saw that, I thought, geez, maybe I want to kind of go and do that too. And one of the things that's been really nice, at least for Red Clay, is that we've been able to offer teachers basically per diem to come and do that. So they get their real hourly rate as opposed to the $27 or $29 an hour, which is still great, but it really encourages teachers to do that because we're exhausted. We're really exhausted. And my first reaction was, oh my gosh, there's no way I would want to come back and do that. But I'm so grateful to my colleagues who are able to do that. So that's one of the plans. In BSD, they are also offering, Brandywine School District, they're also offering also summer learning too. And I have learned a little bit about that at school board meetings, but I don't know the ins and outs of that. But my hope is that they're able to really come up with some really fun opportunities to get the kids back in. A lot of people talked about this, learning loss, but we never talked about what our students gained, from this year. And certainly we've all had loss, but our students learned lessons that we could never teach in the classroom about being resilient and about being survivors. And I can tell you right now that my students have lost a lot, not just in learning, but in personal loss, tragic loss from COVID. And it's not fair and it's not right. And I don't know how, it can never be made up to them. But, I just hope and pray that we can come back in the fall with some, trauma-informed care and practices and teaching, and just really, kind of understand that it can't just always be business as usual. And I would agree with Kecia as far as, for next year, that obviously the plan is to get everybody back to whatever normal was, but maybe normal didn't work for everybody. And we have models already, like at Dickinson High School, we have the model of the school within a school. So we could do more of those types of things for our students who really do learn best remotely, because I can tell you right now at McCain, we have a lot of high school students who simply just could not come to class because our hours were from 7:25 to 2:15, but they were working because they needed to support their families. And so we have to come up with better plans to meet the needs of all of our students.
You know, Kim, you made a good statement in meeting the needs, especially with all the issues that we've dealt with last year being totally unprecedented for a lot of folks dealing with COVID to social justice issues.
Oh my gosh,
Do
yes.
you, both of you, Kecia and Kim, do you guys see that being a part of the curriculum in the near future, addressing social justice issues at all?
Well, you know, I think it's important to look at the whole child. And as Kim was talking about some of the lessons learned and things that we can build upon, there's agency that was built with our students. They are learning to use their time wisely, having some choice in terms of how they spend their time, depending on what model their school enacted this year. And so I think the piece of the puzzle that we're missing is the student voice. And understanding how do they feel. You know, we as parents make a lot of decisions. We go to school board meetings, we share our point of view. How do we hear from the students, from the little ones all the way up to the older students? And with that, I will say that I have been impressed by a number of students within the Red Clay School, Consolidated School District who have elevated issues over the year or so about social justice. They raised their voices to share how they were feeling about the things going on in our world and society. And so I think it's important to listen to our students so that we can enact curriculum that meets their needs. So not just a one-size-fits-all social justice, but how do we craft curriculum that helps our students to have voice, helps our students to understand their histories, helps our students to be able to communicate and engage with people who don't look like them, who don't speak their languages, who aren't from their backgrounds, and still be able to get along and to be able to thrive. Because at the end of the day, our students are our future. And so we need to be able to empower them to be able to make good choices, to think critically, and to be productive citizens.
That's awesome. So awesome, yes. I look forward to seeing everything that you two ladies are going to do during your term. One last question. When do you start?
Yes.
Officially? Officially July, actually Monday.
Awesome, awesome. This is really great. I really appreciate your time together with us here today at DETV. Good Morning Wilmington. Again, I look forward to seeing great things from you both. And yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And a special thanks to Kecia Nesmith and Kimberly Stock. Congratulations on both your
ladies,
wins.
yes.
You guys are making history. Keep doing the great work.
Yes.
And next up, we have the Wilmington Children's Chorus. They have a new documentary coming out, and we are getting ready to check out their trailer, And Still We Sing. Let's check it out real quick.
It's kind of felt like the whole world has been put at like a standstill.
I think it taught us that when things get hard, there's always another way.
We are going to stand together to get through this hard moment.
Our children should know that music is our history. It's our history.
That was a real good trailer.
That was
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to watching that documentary. But until we get a chance to watch the documentary, we have some phenomenal guests. We have the artistic director, Miss Kimberly Doucette. How are you, Kimberly?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we also have the executive director, Leanna Magger. How are you?
Hi, Leanna.
I'm great. Thank you guys so much. Looking
thanks.
forward to it.
Thanks for being on. So how have you guys been making out during COVID?
It has been a challenging year for the Wilmington Children's Chorus and for all of our choristers. but it's also been a year where we've discovered what we're capable of during times of great challenge. We've been blessed to have wonderful support from our community. I know we're very grateful for that. And on behalf of all the arts organizations in Delaware, we have been so lucky to receive this outpouring of support.
How about you? How's the actual organization as a whole been holding up?
So we've been very lucky. We actually have our associate director is a researcher on COVID-19 and singing. So we've been lucky to be able to implement a lot of protocols so that we could continue in a hybrid kind of situation where we have some choristers who are joining us all virtually, and some choristers who are attending in-person rehearsals with, of course, many well-researched precautions in place. But we have been able to continue meeting with our choristers regularly and find creative approaches like this upcoming documentary so we can still share their voices with the community and still explore many different topics through the power of music.
That's awesome, awesome. So as we all know now, our COVID restrictions are loosening later this month. What do you have going forward, maybe this summer? How do you guys plan on moving forward with summer programming?
We're very excited for a healthy and happy summer of song. Our chief priority is always keeping our young singers and our staff safe and healthy. And we recognize that healthy includes keeping them mentally healthy as well, keeping them connected with their community and engaged in activities that they love to do, which include singing. We're thrilled to have a summer camp that will run from June 21st through the 25th. And we'll also be partnering with Kingswood Community Center, the Latin American Community Center, and Summer Collab to bring music to their summer camps as well.
Now, how did you guys come about bringing this documentary together? And it's my understanding you have a local artist himself putting this documentary together, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the idea of the documentary actually came from the summer. Last year in 2020, when COVID hit, we took about 2 weeks to figure out how we would proceed. And then we jumped right back into virtual rehearsals and started really exploring a lot of different topics with our choristers. We had forums where they were able to talk about what was going on in their lives and their feelings about COVID-19 and isolation. And of course, as the Black Lives Matter movement continued to grow, they had a lot of response to that as well. And so many creative responses too. We saw over the summer, we had some forums where they were able to perform some of their individual original works. They were writing songs, poems, creating artworks that responded to these themes. And they were just so powerful. Even though we were on a Zoom platform, we were just struck by the creativity of all of our choristers. And it got us thinking about how can we showcase this, as well as some of the group things that we've been able to do, where we've been able to gather safely to create choral music. And putting that all together into a project that shows our young people's response to these incredibly challenging, but in so many ways, inspiring times. So that's really where the idea came from. And putting it all together has been certainly a year-long process. We've been working with Elias Muhammad of Advocate Media, and we started filming really in February, but all of the planning and all of the rehearsals and logistics, that's been going on for quite some time. And we're excited that on May 22nd, we'll be premiering the results of this incredible effort by our young people and the community that supports them.
And where can we catch the documentary?
So we're going to be having a small in-person premiere at Howard High School on May 22nd at 7 p.m. But everyone can join that virtually. We'll be having a live stream of that event as well. And our website, wilmingtonchildrenschorus.org, is where you can find information for how to purchase tickets for both the in-person premiere, which again is very limited, so we can maintain distancing in the very large Howard High School auditorium. But then, of course, live stream access is unlimited.
Now, is there anything that the community can do to help with Wilmington Children's Chorus and artists in general and within its community?
Of course. I think now is the time when our community needs to band together and support the things that fill our life with, joy. And those things include music, art, theater, and dance. Your local arts organizations, they're always looking for, yes, donations, but also for folks to spread the excellent work of what we're doing. For example, sharing about auditions for the Wilmington Children's Chorus coming up in the fall, sharing about the work that we're doing with this premiere, and sharing the live stream information with your friends and family. I think in addition to giving of your time when you attend events and giving of your treasure when you donate, you can share with your networks. I know that's always appreciated by us, and it's appreciated by our friends as well.
Awesome, awesome. So again, if you are interested in contributing in some kind of way, or even checking out this documentary, you want to go to www.wilmingtonchildrenschorus.org. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. What a show.
Oh my gosh, that was so awesome.
Awesome guests.
Yes.
Special thanks to Kecia and Kim.
Oh my gosh,
I'm so excited about their election.
I know. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do during their term. Yeah. But listen, the bill that Senator McBride, oh my gosh. Listen, as a human resource professional, that is something that is so major.
Yeah. And monumental.
Exactly, I agree.
For everyone, because especially with the impact of COVID now, and I can only imagine years moving forward how that is going to be beneficial for everyone.
But hold on, not just that, but also with the press conference regarding the rescue.
Yes, with Ciro Papady. We're going to have him on.
That's
next
major.
Show. Our Newcastle County Registrar of Wills, he's leading the charge with the FEMA program to help individuals that have lost loved ones to COVID, and to give them some kind of financial
up to $9,000. That's amazing.
That is huge, and he's got a lot of the funeral directors behind him. So I'm very excited about that. That's a way to get back.
How about I now understand we did not have a gas shortage?
We did not.
So I didn't have to pull out, the recyclable bags you get from.
Cyber attack could impact gas. So if you're trying to fill up a bucket and put it away,
the recyclable bags you get from the grocery store, don't take that.
Don't
do it.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Did you hear who is the new dean at Howard University?
Listen, Our Lady.
Oh my God! I just started back to school. I think I might go to Howard now.
I want to go just so I can lay eyes on her.
It's bad, but I would intentionally mess up just so I could be at the dean's office.
No comment.
I would.
No comment.
I would. Be like that scene. I had big fun. Big fun. I was out with the wretched. So she would look at me and just send me off. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Listen, I absolutely love her. I'll never forget, I was at Milk and Honey on Union Street one day, and we were having a debate about who is the auntie versus like the wifey. Was it Pam Grier or Felicia Rashad? Listen, I would rather be Felicia Rashad any day. I think she's the wifey.
Congratulations to Howard University students.
Most definitely. That's an amazing.
That's huge. That's huge.
Major.
And just imagine her sister might be coming by too. Debbie Allen.
Love me some Debbie Allen. Yes.
Man.
Fame.
Oh man.
I'm gonna live forever.
No.
Yes.
We're not gonna quit our day job, right? And leave us singing to other people.
I love it.
Yeah.
Listen, I really enjoyed this show. It was so energizing and super informative.
It was.
Even with the documentary for the Wilmington Children's Chorus.
Yes,
I'm super excited to see that on the 22nd.
And especially because what I love about from what I just saw in the trailer is that it's not only covering how we need to advocate for our artists, but the fact that COVID and racism playing a role all together. So that's very insightful and very creative to bring that to fruition. So great job to Elias Muhammad and Wilmington Children's Chorus. That was very good. So.
Listen, the arts were heavily affected by COVID, and even when it comes to social justice,
they were. I mean, you saw us. We the way we were singing here at the table. I was singing at home during COVID, and I had my own thing.
Yes,
so
my music streaming service got lots of play from me.
Yep, because being locked in the house, you got to do something. That creativity was kicking in.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to the next segment. But these guests were really great, and good job to you.
I agree. No, great job to you.
Thanks for having.
Oh, thank you for having me.
DETV,
yes.
they have us on here.
Indeed,
So
it was
excited.
awesome to be welcome to come back again.
Yes.
So
until next time, you guys.
Have a great Monday.
Have a great Monday.
Go be great.
Yeah.